Hey everyone, this is a tutorial for the PowerBombs Before Bombs wall crawl and Life Grove without boost. Um, Bear with me through this since this is my first time really making anything like this, and I'm kind of half reading from a script, half making stuff up as I go. So this is probably gonna be a little rough around the edges. Um, Again, also apologies for like the video quality, or if like I drop frames during this or whatever. Um, I'm doing my best here, but you know. That being said, I guess we should get started. So, really, the main thing I wanted to accomplish with this tutorial was to kind of demystify this trick in a way, because I feel like a lot of people aren't even like looking into it because it just seems weird, and it is a little bit intimidating and definitely requires some practice, but I think if you know what you're doing, it's actually not very difficult at all. So what I did there was I just shot some missiles at those scarabs. That's optional, of course, but it helps save health for a little bit later when we're going to be doing magma pool dash. Just makes that a little bit safer. That will be much later though. I've also taken the liberty of giving myself a couple items here that you wouldn't normally have. Obviously I have like Phazon suit, Various suit, all the beams, boost ball, spider ball, all that shit. And that's just to make my life easier recording this, but it's important to keep in mind that if you're doing the PowerBombs Before Bombs wall crawl, you aren't going to have bombs for it, as the name would imply, and that means that making any mistakes out of bounds is either going to be really costly or is just going to outright result in a dead run. So my advice with it is take your time learning it. I would highly suggest learning Training Chamber wall crawl in 100% first, since it's basically the exact same trick, or the first half at least is the exact same trick, and you have bombs for it, so you can actually make small mistakes and be fine. Luckily the wall crawl is actually pretty easy, so it isn't very difficult to navigate without bombs. So, and lastly, I guess I should this little preamble here. I'll say that this is definitely not a beginner friendly trick. If you're a beginner, I would suggest avoiding this route for a while, until you get like a pretty solid grasp of how wall crawling actually works in this game. This route is very wall crawl intensive, and it's very reset intensive in the beginning, meaning that you're going to be doing the beginning wall crawls a lot. So it's pretty easy to get hard stuck in the first 20 minutes of this game doing this route, so just be warned. That being said, I guess we can actually start getting to the trick now. So first, what we're going to do is we need to hit a loading trigger for the next room that we're going to wall crawl to, which is right in front of that morph ball hole there. I did a terrible job of shooting that, but it's right there. There's two ways to get up there. The easier way is to like dash off this bridge and then dash over here, and then you're in front of it. A slightly faster way is to get to the edge of this stump here and then R jump over here. Do whichever way you're more comfortable with. Again, the R jump is faster. Once you've done that, you're going to jump up, grab this scan point, walk forward just a little bit, and miss the dash because I'm bad. But yeah, just dash over to this missile and collect it. Again, if you bonk there and land on that little awning, it's fine. What you don't want to do is fall down here, because then you'll need to hit the loading trigger for piston tunnel again. and that's pretty easy to fall here because this branch is stupid, and that's where we have to jump next. You have to jump right on the tip of it, otherwise you will slide off. Let me see if I can avoid doing that real quick. Alright, cool. Yeah, just be careful jumping up to here. That branch is really dumb. Next, you're going to jump up onto this block right here, and then up right here. Next, there's like an invisible wall that we want to land on, which is right here. I aim to a little bit of the left of this little bend in this rock wall right here, and you should land on it. Just be careful when jumping over here. Again, you don't have morph ball bombs yet, and if you fall down here, you're kind of sandwiched in between like unstandable collision, and it's really, really difficult to get out, if not outright impossible. So again, just be careful when learning all this. I would suggest learning the wall crawl with bombs first, actually, just so that you can make mistakes, and then implement bombless in your runs when you're finally comfortable. Next, you're just going to jump onto this rock wall here and then jump down to this pipe. You can just single jump that. I just space jump there to be a little bit more safe, but it's pretty free to just jump down here. Next, you're going to transition in piston tunnel just by walking over this door, and you're going to jump into the Aether. The loading trigger for training chamber is right here, and what you want to do here, there's a bunch of different ways to do this room, but the easiest way is to get onto the tip of this piston, and then, oh, I'm probably stuck in the wall here. That's okay. I can morph. I'll cut to when I'm not at the bottom of this room. Oh, I can just save it like that. Anyway, what I was saying, you want to get right on the tip of this little piston here. What I did there was I went too fast and I actually got stuck in the wall. It's not super difficult to do, but you do just have to be careful when doing this, that you don't go like too fast on this or too slow. Because if you go too slow, you'll just miss the piston and fall into the bottom of the room. And then if you go too fast, you'll get stuck in the wall like I just did there. So hopefully I can avoid doing that this time. And then just go over here and touch the loading trigger and then jump over here. Wait for this room to load, and you're going to jump up onto this beak thingy, and then up again onto this ledge, and then jump over to the spider rail. I walk forward a little bit here, and then you're going to jump over right here, because that's where the next load trigger is. You'll get a little standable spot there. And then I jump over to here where this energy tank is. Make sure you don't fall into this little crevice here. You will get stuck. And then turn and just jump to this wave door. And then transition to training chamber access. And then transition back to training chamber. Okay, so that's the first part of the wall crawl. It's pretty easy. Again, the hardest part of this trick is honestly this part right here. So I guess without getting too involved here, the reason that this trick has to be done in such a specific way is because all these rooms before, we had to jump into load triggers to load the rooms that we wanted to go to. But this one, if you notice, when I transition to training chamber access, magma pool just loads instantly. So that's because magma pool auto loads from training chamber access. So you need to make sure that until you're ready to do the jump to get in front of the door, that you're on training chamber the entire time. So just be mindful of that. Next, what you're going to do, we have to set up this annoying R jump. And to do that, you want to slide over to the left here until you can't see this wall anymore. And then I aim for this little shaft of light here. Or the right, like the outside right edge of the shaft of light. And then that'll make your R jump a bit more consistent in terms of like facing angle and all that. And then the only further advice I can really give besides that is to just use your space jump a little bit later than you'd probably be used to if you were just doing a normal R jump. Otherwise, you'll go too high. The reason why this R jump is so important and like why it's so finicky is because in order to grab the power bomb in the next room, you need to have a very specific height, or it's a range of heights rather, but you need to be within that range, and it's pretty small. If you're too high up, you will soft lock inside of the little cell that the power bomb is kept in, and if you're too low, you just won't collect the power bomb when the room loads. So let me just grab a drink of water real quick. So if you do mess up the R jump, which I'll show right here, I'll just intentionally botch it. So this is going to obviously be way too low. If you land in the Aether here before this room loads, you can just, and you know that your height isn't good, you can just bail out and go back into Training Chamber Access's box and then just walk to this door. By the way, in the description of this video is probably the most important resource for this entire trick. Justin made a GIF showing the possible height ranges for grabbing the power bomb and being able to leave. So you're gonna want to reference that a lot when you're learning this at first, because that's how you're gonna know that your R jump is at a good height. But yeah, if you do mess it up, that's fine. You literally have basically unlimited attempts at this until you start committing for the pause buffer and going for the power bomb. If you miss, just jump back up onto the door like that and transition back to Training Chamber. Okay, this is a good height. Okay, I'll explain what I'm doing here in a second. Okay, so as far as the pause buffering stuff goes, it really looks a lot worse than it actually is. And this will take me a little while to explain, just because there aren't really any. First of all, this is the only trick that exists that does this in this game. So, and this is the first tutorial on that trick, so I kind of had to build everything from the ground up here. So what you're going to be doing is, before you start pause buffering, you need to press L in between pauses, because you can hold L in between pause buffering, but you can't press L while you're paused, if that makes sense. Basically, L has to already be held down in order for you to be able to keep holding L in order to buffer L, an L hold, so that you're locking your aim. I hope that makes sense. I didn't do a very good job of describing that. But regardless, once you do get the L lock there, you can just hold L down and then buffer whatever direction that you need to go. Next is going to be the lineup that you actually want to use for the map to determine where you're actually going. And I'll show the final location that you need to go to in a minute when I get a bit closer there, so I can actually demonstrate what it looks like. And again, all these lineups and stuff are going to be in the description. There's going to be all that good stuff so that you can look at later. Excuse me. So what you're going to do is, in order to check your progress, you're going to move the map so that the M in zoom, the little middle leg of it at the bottom there, is going to be right on top of this line on Training Chamber. It doesn't have to be exact, but it has to be pretty close. And then basically what you're going to do there, or after that, is you're going to use I guess for lack of a better word, like intuition to where you have to go. So what I do, as far as like holding directions goes, I hold up left when I first jump into the Aether, and then until I get like halfway past the wave door, or like half of the wave door being on my screen, that's when I switch to straight left. And you can pretty much just hold straight left until you get like to the final spot of the setup. And as far as rhythm goes for the pause buffer, do not spam Z. That is not going to work for you. What I do is I look at the little like reflection of light off the arm cannon, and I react to that moving, and then I open the map like that. This is pretty lenient. As long as you don't have like super long unpauses, you should have plenty of time to get into position. Let's check on my progress here. Again, to check your progress, move the middle leg of that M to that line. It looks like I have to hold left a little bit more here. You're just going to be holding left for like 90% of this. And then you're going to be doing some last minute adjustments at the end to make sure that you're in the right position. And I'll show the right position when I get there. That's pretty close. Okay, so what you want to do, that may have actually been too far of a turn. I'm just lining this up real quick so I can explain what I'm doing afterwards. So bear with me here for a second. Need to go a little bit more back. And just a tiny bit forward. Okay, that should probably work. Okay, so the lineup that you're looking for here isn't extremely precise, but again, the closer you are to the actual lineup, or the more accurately, I should say, that you're able to replicate the final lineup, is you're going to be able to guarantee that you actually grab the power bomb when the room loads around you. So the two things that I look for, again, make sure that the M and zoom is in the right place. And then what I do is I make sure that the right side of the triangle is going straight up and down, or so that it's parallel with the A there. Again, you can buffer turning with R during the pause buffer, so it's not hard to get the angle. The angle doesn't actually matter that you face, but again, it doesn't really cost that much time to do it, like literally less than seconds maybe, but and it has the invaluable effect of ensuring that you do the lineup correctly. And second thing that you need to do for this lineup is when the triangle is at its smallest, so you see how it bounces like that, you want to have the bottom right corner be basically touching the bottom of the A. So as long as your height is good, or the height from your R jump jumping into the Aether was good, and you do this lineup, you should grab the power bomb every time. So let's see. Yeah, just like that. So sorry if I didn't do a super great job of explaining that. It is a little bit weird to explain or to put into words what you're supposed to do, but really it's not that complicated to like figure out on your own. And the lineup that I've been using there is pretty much 100% consistent. again, take your time figuring out, or you really have a lot of time to get in, to make sure that you get into the right position there. So don't stress, and as long as you don't like accidentally unpause for like a whole second, you should pretty reliably be able to beat the load and get in position on time. Okay, so now that that's done, we can finally get onto the last part of this wall crawl. So you're at the bottom of the box for Magma Pool here. There's a corner like right here that I'll look for just to make Aether jumping back up a lot simpler. It's right here. Oops. And then you want to land on top of here. I almost overshot it. And then I land on this little peg that sticks out. I try to jump on this little peg that sticks out over the door. Like that. And then, as far as getting back in bounds goes, what I do is I aim at this little brown splotch in the skybox. If you're looking for it, like, in practice, you can use this, like, seam in the skybox that's, like, super visible. And then right below it is going to be, like, the brown splotch that you're looking for. I aim towards the right of that splotch, and then without pressing L, I space jump twice, hold forward, morph. That will happen, and then you should be back in bounds. That pretty much works every time, as long as you well, do it correctly. Yeah, and then to finally finish the trick up, you want to just jump backwards here to transition back into Magma Pool. And you're back in bounds. The last part of this is you have to do this pretty tricky dash across Magma Pool here. I think I messed it up. Oh, I actually got it there. There's two ways you can do this, really. I think actually the easier way is to shoot these boxes and use this drop. I'm pretty sure that the angle that gives you is like actually just easier to work with, and I should probably start doing that in my runs. But the other thing that you can do is, if you don't want to shoot the boxes, you can use the PowerBomb wall scan and dash like that. I did a terrible dash. I'll just say it was on purpose. By the way, even though you don't have Variasuit, if you land like right here, okay, you can actually pretty reliably make it out of here alive, with like a little bit of health remaining, as long as you have like more than like 170 health or so, maybe like 160 even. You can make it out pretty consistently with like just a little bit of health remaining. And then if you did happen to miss the dash, that's okay. Because in this room here, these Shriek Bats will always drop 30 energy. So you don't have to worry about dying if you happen to miss the Magma Pool dash. But yeah, that's PowerBombs Before Bombs. Next, I'm going to demonstrate, I guess, the Life Grove stuff. So I'll cut to that in just a second. Also, as I guess just for the sake of posterity, if you are doing training chamber wall crawl in 100%, I'll just demonstrate that right now, because again, it's the same wall crawl, just without doing the PowerBombs Before Bombs part, you know. What you want to do is you want to transition to training chamber access, and then make sure the map is on training chamber access. Then jump up here, hold forward, and then bomb. And if you see the morph ball dip down like that, you should be able to warp back in bounds. I don't know why it didn't work there. Has been a little while since I've done this. There we go. And then just grab your energy tank. Then you want to switch to wave beam. don't mash R on that spider rail. You can actually get stuck because of the room being in the wrong room causes the collision to get weird. And then you'll trigger the ghost fight right here. But you should just be able to leave. As long as you're not too slow. And then just morph and get this missile. Yeah, so that's training chamber. Okay. So, I guess the most nerve-wracking part of this route would be the Life Grove and Life Grove tunnel without boost. So, first of all, I'll try to explain all that stuff. But first of all, before I get into any of that, just know that if you haven't gotten a power bomb drop at this point in the run, this guy will always drop one. So, which is important because you need it for this power bomb block up here. So that guy's really indispensable in case if you haven't gotten a drop before this point, which there are sources in Chozo Ruins that you can get. But yeah, you're just gonna go into here, power bomb. I am morphed for some reason, and you're in here. So I guess this is really difficult to explain in any way that isn't just like practice and figure this out for yourself, which honestly is going to yield the best results for figuring this out. But I guess I can explain the basics of this a little bit. Basically, notice that when I either use one bomb or I use all three bombs, it takes the exact same amount of time for all of my bombs to come back. So you can actually abuse this by burning one bomb. And I got 3 bombs for my bomb jump there. That's called a TBJ. And while this is doable with a double bomb jump, the TBJ is just going to make it way, way easier. So you have to do this twice, one for each side. It's not that hard, but again, the most difficult part about this is going to be the nerves that you have going into this, especially if like you're on a good pace or you had a good PowerBombs Before Bombs or whatever, because what I'm not going to cover in this video is if you fall down here. I do have boost ball, so I can just get out, but obviously you won't if you're doing the route. So I'm not really qualified to talk about the bomb jump from the bottom there. If you are interested in learning it, maybe like ask Justin or M92 about how to do HPBJs, and like how to specifically do them in here, because it's really stupid with all the collision and camera chicanery that goes on. But really, these bomb jumps aren't like that difficult to do, especially if you use the TBJ. So well, I guess without further ado, I'll just try to demonstrate it real quick. So I've actually been struggling with these lately, but what you want to do, so for this first one, you actually burn your first bomb by getting up here. When you see the blue particles go away, so that was bad, because I was trying to explain what I was doing while I was doing it, and I'm bad at that. But when you see the blue particles go away, that's when you want to lay your second bombs, like that, and you should get up there. I didn't make it up there that time, and that's okay. If you don't make it all the way up, you can just fall back down in the crevice. What you really want to avoid doing is going for the bomb jump and then trying to roll into the bombs and then rolling past them before they hit you. That's the #1 thing that you want to avoid. Because most of the time, if you just do a bad bomb jump, but you actually get hit by your bombs, you'll be able to just fall back down here and you should be okay. So like I said. And you should get up just fine like that. Again, you don't have to, the timing for that is not strict at all. Again, you can do it with a regular DBJ, so the TBJ is really just to make it more safe. Just roll through here, grab X-ray visor real quick. I don't have fusion suit on. Rest in peace. Or, well, I don't even have power suit anyway, so it doesn't matter, but, you know. So this part, I really can't explain this if I'm being completely honest. The relevant videos, for this manipulation are going to be in the description, so follow those if you need to. I don't really know how to do this first one, and in all honesty, I probably should have looked it up before I made this video, but whatever. You want to be like on top of, or just a little bit like on top of this little stone thingy, and then hold upright in the cutscene, and you'll get bounced by the pillar. I don't think I got it here, but maybe I did. Okay, I actually did. I'm gonna bomb out though to show the backup, just for sake of demonstration. So if you don't get it, that's fine. You don't have to jump out of the water, by the way. I thought you did at first, but you actually don't. So if you don't get it, just roll into the spinner, hold up left, and then mess up the bomb timing. You want to lay a bomb, and then right before the first bomb goes off, you want to lay a second one. Just like that. I made that look really easy, actually. It's actually pretty precise to get that. So, but with a little bit of practice, you should be able to get it within, like, 1 to 5 tries every time. So, not that bad if you know what you're doing. Lastly, if I can jump onto this rock. I kill this guy. He always drops a power bomb. You can also just kill the seedling that's in Transport Tunnel D again to get his guaranteed drop. I just like to do this guy because he's right there. Because why not? I'm not sure if one's faster or slower. So, you know. And you have to do another TBJ here. What I like to do here, I actually have a weird I need to reset my camera angle real quick. So if you go back into this tunnel, it will change the camera angle. So this is going to be the camera angle that you're working with here. I guess if you wanted to, you could. If you like this other camera angle better, it actually might be better to do this, but this isn't what I practiced. So you can roll back into this tunnel to change the camera angle. And I guess you'll be able to see more. That's not what I've practiced, though. And admittedly, I probably should practice that, because I just thought of that now, and it seems pretty great. But, yeah, just lay a bomb here. And just get back up. It's really not that bad, but you definitely need to practice this. But once you get it in your fingers, you should be good. And just, main thing is with that is just have confidence in yourself, but not too much confidence. Like, if you think your bomb jump is bad, chances are it's bad. So, and that's it. Hopefully this helps you with this route. It really is a lot of fun after you get past all the dumb tricks that it has. So, thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this helpful, and I'll see you.